We saw some serious rain and hail this morning, and we're expecting severe weather tomorrow. Good evening. I'm Brittany Pieper.
And I'm Jim Rake. Thanks for joining us. Let's send it over to Rosie for a check of the forecast.
Thanks, guys. We're already starting to watch light to moderate rainfall kind of edge its way into mid-Missouri. So let's go immediately to what's happening on our live Doppler 8 First Alert radar. You can see the radar only spans to the western edges of the state. So beyond that, things are actually pretty active as you move over into Kansas and Oklahoma. Tornado watches up, lots of severe thunderstorm warnings. And that activity is going to be tracking toward mid-Missouri, but it's going to take a couple more hours. We only have rain in one of our mid-Missouri counties at this time. Flash flood watches are up for all the counties surrounding the Missouri River. That's because we're continuing to see increased drop rates with these storm systems. Anytime we get a thunderstorm, we just know that we're going to have more rain than your average shower. So that's going to continue to be a problem moving forward. The next 24 to 36 hours are pretty critical for us here in Mid-Mo. I'll give you a better breakdown as to what we're expecting over the course of that next time period and everything that you can be expecting in your next 8 days in total coming up in just a bit.
4 people are dead following a shooting at Fort Hood today. That was the PA system in a nearby neighborhood warning people on the base to take shelter because of an active shooting. 3 victims were killed during the shooting, and the shooter has been identified as 34-year-old Ivan Lopez. Officials say he later shot and killed himself. They also said that the gunman shot at least 8 people who were taken to nearby hospitals, some in critical condition. President Obama made a statement on the situation at Fort Hood just a couple hours ago.
You know, any shooting is troubling. Obviously, this reopens the pain of what happened at Fort Hood 5 years ago. We know these families. We know their incredible service to our country and the sacrifices that they make.
We'll have the latest updates for you tonight on KOMU 8 News at 10.
They respond to 10,000 calls a year or more. They would like to respond to those calls faster. KOMU 8's Alyssa Caruso is here in the studio to tell us why Cole County Emergency Services is getting a remodel.
This morning, the Cole County Commission approved $1.2 million worth of renovations to the Emergency Services building, renovations that they hope will make response times faster. Ambulances, hazmat vehicles, and emergency responders, all in what used to be a warehouse. For years, emergency services worked out of the building, but employees and county commissioners say it's time for some remodeling.
When you look at the property, we are in the back of the property. We're several hundred feet away from the main thoroughfare. With the volume of the back and forth we have responding out of this property, when you look at it, it makes sense to put the volume up front.
Currently, ambulances are in the back of the building, but the new changes will put them up front, making it more efficient for responders.
Cutting off that response from around the property to the thoroughfare, so it just makes sense that the closer you can get to that medical emergency, the better off you are.
Renovations also include moving the dispatch center and crew quarters on the main level down from the second floor of the building and into a larger space.
Looking at what we need and future needs that we could possibly think of, moving us up front and expanding our footprint within the building was the best option presented to the commission.
One of the commissioners told me that these improvements were planned for a long time now. He says money used for renovations comes from a reserve where the county specially set aside money for this project.
New details tonight on the Downtown Columbia development standstill. The Downtown Columbia Leadership Council met tonight to discuss what they can do to advise the City Council on the next steps. Columbia Director of Public Works John Glasscock says the sewer improvements alone will cost around $10 million. That's in addition to water and light improvements. Deputy City Manager Tony St. Romain said the city did not know where new student housing developments would go years ago, so they didn't prepare to accommodate them downtown. There is no timeline for when downtown infrastructure will be improved or when the new development will be added to the area. For now, that freeze still stands. The City Council is expected to discuss the issue at its next meeting on April 9th.
Governor Nixon came to Pioneer Trail Elementary School tonight to speak with the Missouri Parent Teachers Association. The PTA planned on having Missouri lawmakers attend also, but none showed. President Kim Weber says the lawmakers said they just were too busy at the Capitol to attend. Some topics the PTA hoped to discuss with the lawmakers were family engagement, early childhood education funding, the foundation formula, and Common Core. The governor discussed the importance of the fiscal obligation to schools and promised to make the system better.
Common Core standards are meant to increase difficulty in math and English curriculums at the elementary and high school levels. For the past 3 years, schools have worked to align the standards with their curriculum, and they're set to take effect in August. Now teachers are concerned about a bill that would forbid schools from using any standards in line with Common Core. One teacher argued if the standards were reversed, elementary math students would not even know how to count change. Both Democrats and Republicans agreed the biggest issue is the way the Department of Education adopted the standards in schools.
This had not been an open process. If you were opposed to standards like these and you felt it had not been an open process, would it be a persuasive argument to say, let's get on because we've worked so hard at it?
Democrats say the standards are important to maintain an effective curriculum in schools. Lawmakers did not take action on the bill today, but say they plan to fix the problems.
MU student parents want child care to continue on campus after the University Village apartment collapse. That's why parents voiced their concerns to the Graduate Professional Council today. MU has no plans to replace the daycare after it's demolished. That's forcing students to look elsewhere for help. A student parent who pulled his child out of the daycare explains his predicament.
Since this happened, I have to extend my study for 1 more year. I have to extend my visa. I have to spend time finding daycare instead of doing my research. Yeah, this is hard for us.
The Association for Parenting Students emphasized the need for affordable child care if MU decides to replace the Student Parent Center. The Graduate Professional Council is hosting another forum tomorrow to address concerns. The meeting is tomorrow night at Memorial Union.
When Fulton renters move out of their apartments without shutting down their accounts, the city takes on that cost. Every year, Fulton loses about $170,000 because of those unpaid bills. KOMU8's Jen Lask talked to city officials and landlords about their ideas for combating unpaid utility bills.
On a typical day, Fulton's utility workers check anywhere between 500 and 600 utility meters before sending the data on to the city.
They'll show how much more usage than they had from the time we read it last month, and that's how they figure out the bill.
When renters move away without paying, their bills become Fulton's bills.
It's charged against the utility funds. And it ultimately becomes bad debt expense.
One suggested solution would make landlords jointly liable for unpaid bills. Landlords say they're worried they'll have to take on more costs than they can.
Usually if someone is going to be moving out without paying their final bill, chances are they are moving out without paying their final month of rent either.
Another proposal would increase the deposit fee for anyone who opens an account. Whichever plan the city rolls out, Fulton hopes it finds a solution soon. Jen Lask, KOMU8 News, Fulton.
The City Council is set to discuss what plan they'll roll out during its next meeting, April 15th. Landlords who attended the Utility Board meeting also plan to attend that one as well. A new homeless shelter opened its doors today. We'll hear from employees who say the debut of the facility could be a turning point in the community.
Plus, the earthquake in Chile is raising concerns across the Pacific.